Every civilization reacted to the Greeks the Greeks and the Romans the same way, because every civilization acted to the Indo-Europeans the same way. So the Indo-Europeans were reacted to by the same way. That created the Axial Age religions, the Mediterraneans were successful, and they caused a counter reaction of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Then you had the success of the Jews taking advantage, bringing Christianity in, and not only the Jews, both the Byzantines and the Jews bring it in. Then you had the successful replacement of Roman law and religion and empiricism and philosophy with Semitic superstition. Then we had a 1,000-year dark age, and then the Muslims had turned fundamentalist, causing the flight of intellectuals out of Islam into the West. They brought with them the works that Christians had destroyed. Those works were distributed through mostly the Italians. And by 1200, they'd made it up to cause the Restoration movement in Europe, which had become economically viable because of the Hanseatic trade routes. The subsequent empirical revolution began. By the 1400s, we had got the printing press and the closure of the ports, which caused the Atlantics to start the Age of Sail, which overwhelmed the German restoration of the North in the North Sea Baltic, and then the capture of the new territories led to such great wealth for the Europeans that they leapt ahead, Germany being constrained by having fewer viable ports and by being the means by which ideas were propagated east. They were left behind. France had the most backward civilized government in Europe. They had a bloody revolution that killed the middle and upper classes. They reinstituted Latin tyranny, which under this pretense of this pretentious set of fantasies they have. In other words, they rebelled against the Anglo-Italian restoration of the ancient world. And they destroyed Germany, who was almost complete in restoring it. We had the ascent of Germany. We had the Jewish, next from the French and the German, we had the Jewish counter-revolution and the Marxist, neo-Marxist, postmodern, etc. This led to the Soviet Union. This led to the Jewish success at taking over the Russians and causing the Bolshevik Revolution. This created the pressure between the French continental aggression, the English liberalism, and the Jewish Bolshevism. Germany tried to unify herself under a nationalist policy to resist to others. We had the Second World War, and we had the collapse of European worldwide project, the ending of colonialism, and we had the use of the Nazi propaganda, the anti-Nazi propaganda, as the means by which to suppress the eugenics movement, which was the natural outflow of what had actually been, a continuing European civilization. And instead we brought in hostiles who rapidly took over our universities, suppressed all research into human differences, created the superstitious nonsense we call of Marxism, neo-Marxism, postmodernism, anti-male feminism, post I don't know if I got postmodernism, anti-male feminism, PC, and then woke. And this is just a repetition of the Christian destruction of the ancient world, repeated by exactly the same means. They did the same thing. They undermined the culture. They undermined the class cooperations. They undermine marriage, in the sense they undermine the religion. They undermine the aristocracy. They undermine administration. They undermine the law. They destroyed the books. They destroyed the arts. They destroyed the literature. What's different between what the Jews did in the ancient world and what the Jews did in the modern world? It's just you can't get away from that. What did the Muslims do? The Muslims doubled down on it, and they went to physical raiding. Well, of course, they were able to raid the both civilizations and drag them down. And while they ran out of gas, because it's a regressive religion, they eventually ran out of gas by 800, and by 1,000 they were going backwards again. And the temporary gains they got, just as France, as an oppressor of Europe, had gone around and stolen everything that wasn't nailed down and created the Louvre. The Muslims stole everything that wasn't nailed down and created what they call their golden age. But that's just like calling Napoleon's era a golden age. It's just fucking looting, right? And it wasn't anything contributory there. It's like they pull out the few intellectuals that existed in the Muslim world as some great thing, but it's like you're at the crux of 4 continents with all the world trade going through there, and you can't produce an intellectual. Okay, well, it's statistically impossible that you wouldn't produce an intellectual under those conditions, right? Conversely, we had Christianity come into Europe, and we only produced a handful of pathetic intellectuals for hundreds and hundreds of years. So, the truth is what it is.